Howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My live stream cut out. I was in a bad location, so therefore my live stream cut out. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. Hey, hey, hey. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I apologize that my live stream went out. And anyway, I want to just get this out there, and because of the political and criminal nature of the police department over there, based on their conduct, their behavior, their actions, their attitude, their demeanor, I'm throwing this out there. I love the police. I support the police, so long as they're constitutional and they obey the state and federal laws and the Constitution, so long as they don't violate people's rights. So people say, are you anti-cop? I'm anti-bad cop. Define what a bad cop is. A bad cop is a cop that violates the law. A bad cop is one that violates your rights. A bad cop is somebody that's trying to enforce a so-called law, and he don't even know what the name of the law is. He don't know what the statute number is. He don't know the exceptions to the rule. So he's trying to vaguely try and think that he might know something that might be a law and you might have broken it. That's a bad cop. Okay? And he ain't going to be able to claim ignorance of the law, or I thought he was this and that and the other. His qualified immunity is going to be gone, in my opinion, based on what I was trained. So, I feel the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement takes away their police license, or till the state or the county decides that they're going to prosecute, or the FBI or Department of Justice is going to prosecute them, and they quasi-legally hold office, I guess, the way I'm thinking about it, then if they call me and they want some information and something was posted on here, I'll have to ask them what they're talking about, so I make sure I know, one, what they're talking about, and number two, I'm going to ask, am I a suspect in a criminal indictment or a criminal investigation? Do you intend to use anything I say against me in any shape, form, or fashion? Okay? And then I probably, but you never know. Depends on how hard they coerce me or threaten me. But I would probably take the Fifth Amendment, because it doesn't matter what I say, they'll twist it around. And to me, this chief, he's already twisted the law around like a pretzel, inside out, backwards and upside down, and no other cop in the whole freaking to know this, okay? So he's the only one in the state that knows this and thinks this, okay? Apparently, based on actual evidence and drawing conclusions, reasonable conclusions based on the totality of the circumstances and evidence, okay? And I think, I'm pretty sure, but I didn't get to talk to the magistrate, that the magistrate is of the mindset that everybody else is, the judge, the magistrate, that these are bogus charges and this doesn't qualify. Now here's a legal question for an attorney. And I have this, and I'm going to get to these questions with legal counsel. What if I'm in Leon Valley, which I'm not, but what if I was, and then somebody is in California, or they're in San Antonio, they're in a different jurisdiction, and they post something on the internet? Is that a federal crime or a state crime? If they're in another state, it'd have to be a federal crime if there was a crime. If it's somewhere else in Texas to Texas, is it up to the jurisdiction or the person typed this in? Is it up to them to go make the arrest? That they have to find out who it is and they have to make the arrest? Or is it on my end, the receiving end? Okay, in other words, if the law truly was, you're responsible for it and so forth, does it depend on where I'm located when it come across there? Because what if it come across there and I was in San Antonio at the time it come across? Then would he lack jurisdiction to prosecute me or other people if we was outside the city limits? Does he have authority throughout the whole state to prosecute this? The law I know says no. The way I believe says no. But he's acted crazy. He told me I'm silly. Who looks silly now? You. You know, and I'm just trying to be a truth seeker and a problem resolver and do all the good and right things that I should do and you should do. So based on what he said, and he didn't put no qualifiers on it and no filters, so the way it looks like, this is my interpretation. If you have a different one, then, you know, it'd have to be between you and whomever, okay? But my interpretation is similar to Jack's. Maybe a little tiny difference, but basically, Jack's a pretty smart guy, and I think I'm decently okay. I got a decent head on my shoulders. I'm not the smartest man in America, and Jack will probably tell you he's not the smartest man in America. Like he told you, there's a lot of things he don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know, okay? But if somebody posts this on your phone, and since he's the only police officer known for sure in the entire Texas, in the entire state of Texas, I think it would be your civic duty to call him and tell him you saw something on your live stream, you saw it on somebody else's live stream, yada, 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 okay? Then it'd be up to him to call me, which he has my number. He's got Jack's number. He's got a lot of people's numbers, you know, so he can contact you on the phone and say, hey, I'm investigating this crime, and then you can decide if he's trying to criminally charge you, and then, of course, you got the Fifth Amendment. If he's trying to go after somebody else, and he gives me something in writing that's notarized, and witnesses that says, I'm trying to prosecute somebody else, not you, but the person on the other end, and I'm conducting investigation, well, then I have to cooperate at that point, because then elsewise I'd be obstructing investigation, okay? But, you know, I'm not going to go to his jurisdiction till when and if I have federal escorts or state police escorts, or hire sheriff's deputies or constables deputies, that I would have armed higher authority guarding me and guarding my rights from being kidnapped and mistreated, okay? And you know, but I'm saying, if I see something, I'm gonna call him. I may wind up talking to some other minion or a secretary, but my phone will show the date and time I called to say, hey, somebody's personal information showed up on like my live stream, and I saw it. If I don't see it, I don't know. Then there's no withholding of evidence if you don't see it. I can't read all this stuff. If I can't see it or I can't read it, I can't discern it, I definitely can't have criminal intent, no mens rea of mind. If you don't know something, you're unaware of it, so you can't know or should have known that it was a crime. That doesn't apply. Something happened without your knowledge and something you didn't consent to, something you didn't participate in. So that's just like if you're in your home and you're asleep and somebody drops off a stolen car in your driveway. Who do they arrest? You that's in your home asleep? Or do they go after the guy that stole the car and left it on your property? So somebody did something bad and left it kind of on your premises or you and YouTube's premises, okay? So this is electronic stuff and it's at YouTube on whatever they hold their information on. So I guess by that, then they're looking for people at YouTube and us both. I mean, by his logic. You know, I'm drawing extrapolations and conclusions. I still don't know. I'm confused by all the things that he said and all the things that he done. In my estimation, he committed criminal acts. All the police there committed criminal acts, and they conspired to deprive the people of their civil rights, their inalienable rights, their constitutional rights. And I think so. They committed crimes under state law and they committed crimes under federal law, in my opinion. And hopefully the Department of Justice will launch their own investigation. You know, that's what they had to do up there in Ferguson, okay? Now, they found a lot of problems with the Ferguson police. Now, I don't want to get into a he said, she said, and a big argument on that. I'm just saying they went there and found problems with the Ferguson police. There's other police departments that they've had problems at, and the DOJ's gone there and either shut them down, they have had the chiefs of police fired, removed, prosecuted, people sued them, and then the city has to pay their lawsuits, blah, 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 blah. Deprivation of rights and conspiracy for deprivation of rights, I've been told by lawyers, is very, 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 very serious. Conspiring to deprive people of their civil rights. If you're in uniform and you see something and you did this unlawfully and you knew or should have known it, then that becomes armed theft. I've been told this in the police academy. I've been told this by all kind of judges and lawyers. So the stuff I'm telling you, I'm repeating what people that do have the authority to say it, what they've told me, and I'm just repeating what I heard, and I believe it to be true. I have no mens rea. It is so over-the-top obvious that I tried to get a peaceful meeting. I told his secretary, I told everybody, I'm calling for peace and calm. I don't want nobody to be hurt. I don't want nobody to be done wrong. To me, it goes through the courts. And I was trying to come to an amicable resolution for the benefit of the citizens there. There's a lot of citizens there that talked to me and other people, and they said they're scared. And they said the new city manager and the new chief of police had created a whole bunch of problems for the city, okay? And they had bit off way more and done way more than they should have done. And so a lot of citizens are upset. And so, you know, I said, well, why don't y'all do something about it? Other people asked, why don't you do something about it? They said, well, if they're the guy and you're complaining on them, and then somebody's breaking in on you trying to rape you, and you call them, they're going to say, oh, that's the guy that's got the complaint. Just let them get raped. Or they conveniently have their friends go create problems for you or your families, and they conspire. So now they're an organized group, a gang, under pretending to be authority, and they're acting criminally under what's presumed to be lawful authority. So that makes them a gang member, and the chief of police is the one that's in charge of the gang. So he is the organizer, and he told people, I heard him say, you're not in charge. okay, a strangulation, I'm the one in charge. So if I'm in charge of this gang, and I'm orchestrating it, and they're following my commands, then whatever everybody else gets, it's going to be a lot worse for me, okay? So he bragged on getting a bunch of money from San Antonio police. So that's narcissistic. That's a narcissistic personality. In fact, our auditing team, we have a lot of people in the background, including doctors. The team psychologist says that he's reviewed all the footage that he has been able to lay his hands on dealing with the chief of police and his yearlings, his minions, the people under his control. He's watched the demeanor. He's seen when his hand shakes at certain times when he says things, how his eyes twitch or lips move back and forth, and how he stands backward or forward. He's paid attention to all this stuff just like me as a cop would look for. And said you can tell when he's under pressure, when he's lying, how he's trying to make himself seem in a position of grandeur, like I'm God and I'm in charge and you're not in charge and I control you and I control all this and you've really ticked me off. So as king, called chief of police, as king of this city, I'm going to threaten you and harm you as witnesses, and I'm going to steal your property, and so forth and so on. I don't know, but I was told by another man who is a legal scholar but not a lawyer, he says that keeping their phones for 24 to 72 hours, they could probably get by with that under the pretense of color of law and doing an investigation. But anything beyond that, that people could send them a bill for $100 a day for every phone they have, for every day they have it. So say if they keep your phone for 10 days, you could probably only bill them $700, okay? But that's everybody with every phone for every day. And said that'll speed up the process of getting people's phones back, okay? Now, I don't know how legal that is or not. He says it is. I don't know. You'd have to talk to a lawyer about that, because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a bar card lawyer. I'm not a bar card judge. Anything I say is just my opinion, you know. These are my opinions based on my training, my experience. These are my feelings and my thoughts. My words mean what they mean and nothing more. No other assignment can be made to my words. I decide what my words mean. Nobody else decides what my words mean, you know. And I'm telling you, I have talked to a lot of police, and the police, some of the police that know me tell me, you know, some of the stuff you do, Jones, is kind of questionable. It's kind of a gray area. We know you're trying to do a good thing. We know you haven't, quote, stepped over the line. You ain't done nothing stupid or crazy. You're a good guy. You're always for peace and calm. But some of the things you do make cops look bad. And I said, if a cop was not bad, I couldn't make him look bad. I'm just shining the light on it with the camera, exposing it. I'm asking questions, I'm talking. I'm trying to help people to think, their freedom of thought. I'm trying to say what I want to say to other people. So the cops, when I shine the spotlight of the camera on them, that's my record. That's the record to the world on the internet here. The whole world, not just me and the other guy, but the whole world to see this is how this police officer or police officers or law enforcement officials, sheriff's constables, marshals, city judge, county judge, state judge, federal judge, city clerk, county clerks, the janitor to the building, the guy that cleans the parking lot, anybody that's on the public payroll that's our servant under any condition, okay? So, I don't know, but I got a feeling that in an abundance of caution, to protect our own selves from having our rights violated and from being thrown in a dungeon or warrants issued or what have you, okay? Then I'm saying if you see or think something is criminal or anything the chief said on my channel looks like or could be a crime, then he's saying you basically got to do to report it. That's my conclusion, my understanding. So you have to call and tell him. But then if I'm not within his jurisdiction when it happened, do you still call him? And how do you know where I'm located at? And if I missed it, how does that work? Or is he going to be the investigator for the entire state of Texas for everybody with a live stream that people put information on your live stream? Is he going to be the investigator for the entire state of Texas since he's the only one that sees this as he sees this as a crime? But you got to do a lot of gymnastics and a lot of twisting and turning, pull it inside out, turn it upside down, and light it on fire, so to speak, metaphorically speaking, to sort of kind of get this to go. It reminds me of the passage when Jesus Christ said, you know, you'll have more chance of going through to heaven than they will. Anyway, that gets in a long story, but anyway, he says your chances of getting to heaven are like that of a camel passing through the eye of a needle. So he's telling you your chances is zero, okay? So I don't know. I think Chief Josie Slavago, Gidio, something, I think he tried to get this camel, a thing called a law, a camel, I think he tried to push that through the eye of a needle. And then I think all the people that are smart and all the people that really know said, you can't charge these people for this because this law doesn't apply to them. And they can't be responsible for another man's crime. You can't let your neighbor commit a crime and then go arrest his neighbor for doing it. Okay? And then, here's something else. They said they were enforcing this law to the letter. They said nobody's getting by. I, with my own two eyes, seen two ladies, with big, huge bags. Now, the sign out front says municipal law and all this stuff says diaper bag, it's okay. These were not diaper bags. There was no diapers in there. I could see there were no diaper bags in there, and there was no babies. It was just big, huge bags. They went right past them and went on in with their bags. So if it's quote for security, then they let their security be breached with all these police officers, between 2 and 10 of them at a time in around that lobby. They let these people breach security. And in fact, one of them stood there and talked to people. Okay? So they seen it. Another man had a cell phone right there in his pocket where you could clearly see, and not only did they not want him and they didn't stop him, and of course we'll FOIA that footage if it ain't destroyed, deleted, missing, whatever, which wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Anybody that would try and do what they've done so far, what else would they do? So I don't know. I don't trust them. I'm actually scared for my life, and I'm scared for the other auditors' lives and our families. I don't know what they'll do to us or other people and retaliate for shining the light on their unlawful, criminal, bad behavior violation. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, my point is, when in doubt, throw it out. You know, like you got food that's bad or you ain't sure if it's bad, when in doubt, throw it out. So I'm saying if you're in doubt that something may be wrong, you call Chief Joseph Slugoville, Slugavenia, whatever. I can't say his name. I ain't being funny. I think I had it down and then I forgot. But anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. The chief of police, Leon Valley. Call him. His detectives. He's got a lieutenant. I saw on his shirt says detective, and he was lieutenant, so I guess his detective lieutenant, his sergeant, his officers, somebody. If you call down there, then somebody will get a case number on it. And make sure and get a case number. And please, come back here to my chat. I know you know today, tomorrow, whenever, and write down what you saw, and write down who you notified, what day and what time. Get their name and write down the case number. And if they tell you that that's not a crime, or that they're not going to investigate it, or they're not going to give you whatever, then go ahead and make a permanent public record and type it back and put it in here. Today, tomorrow, 24 hours a day, whenever. Okay, the police department's open 24 hours a day. They investigate crimes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They take information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, you know, I'm saying in abundance of caution, I'm saying please, for my very life and for the life of others, and this ain't a joke. I'm really scared. I don't know what they'll do, okay? That's bad to be a retired chief of police twice and a retired chief deputy constable, and to have all the knowledge, skills, and abilities I have, and have all the friends that I have all over the place. I just don't know what they might try and do to me or my family. I don't know what they'll try and do to the other auditors and their family. But I tell you this right now, I am not suicidal. Nobody in my family is suicidal. We're all loving Jesus, and that's a sin in our belief. Nobody wants to kill themselves, off themselves, or nothing. So if there's any mysterious things come up with me or somebody else, it don't matter what the report says, somebody did us in. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just on the record because I don't know what they'll do. If they'll tase people and steal their stuff out in the middle of the road and lock them up and mistreat so-called witnesses and intimidate them and threaten them, you know, what that says to me as a 40-year retired veteran, what that says to me is the only retaliation was not nobody here against y'all. It's you all, the police, retaliating against the journalists. You're retaliating against the people. You're retaliating against the people that have just made an honest, clear, lawful record for the whole entire world through YouTube, okay? So the entire world sees how you conduct business here. They know that this is totally 100% bogus. They know how you violate the law. Just like on the sign it says, you shall not use the word use these things in here, and it's a security notice. Well, if they're really security, then like I say, they can put a yellow line down there and put a petition down here and across here and around, or they can fix a setup where somebody can go into a secure area to take care of, quote, judicial business, which that's an administrative office. That's not a judicial office. If I'm wrong, I'll just let some great attorney tell me I'm wrong, but everything I've read, and I've even had municipal judges say, you know, we're not a judicial judge, therefore we don't have judicial discretion. We're a glorified administrative clerk or a law clerk, and we sit in administrative hearings and make administrative determinations. We're not judicial. And said, so we really can't issue orders. Technically we can, but then in reality, if anybody questions it, it's going to fall away because we don't have that authority. Said that when it comes to search warrants and warrants, depending on what it is, it gets really dicey. Now, the laws, every time the legislature goes into session, laws change, okay? Laws change. Something that wasn't legal sometimes becomes legal, and what was legal now becomes illegal, okay? It goes all over the place. So when I don't know, I'm trying not to talk in circles. I'm not trying to not repeat stuff, but I guarantee you, he said on video, we're pulling all of this. So my interpretation is that everybody that's an auditor or a spectator, and any of the phone information they got, they are going in and trying to figure out your passwords. They tried to get ethics, and you can contact ethics. I seen it, I heard it. I believe it's on video on mine, and other people's got video. I think Buck G's got video, and let's see, Tozai, other people. I can't tell you. Yeah, see, when they do things and they cause you distress, they cause you psychological stress, putting you in jail for something ain't a crime. That's not only a deprivation of your rights, but that mentally and physically affects you from what the doctors have told me. This ain't me saying it, I'm just repeating what I heard. They said it psychologically and physically harms you. It can cause you to have a heart attack. They say it can cause you to have post-traumatic stress disorder. It could cause you to become disabled. If you're disabled, more disabled. It won't do nothing to help you, it'll only harm you because you have to go through the trauma. Then also, it gets your name on the public record that you was arrested by police, and it looks heinous, retaliating against police. So from that day forward, for the rest of your life, every time you happen to have any encounter with the police and they say ID yourself, and so maybe they intimidate you and you don't have to ID, but you're scared, so you just go ahead and give it to them. They're going to run it on there, and they're going to come back with this code, like 1022 Alpha Bravo Zebra, and they're going to know to step away from you unless they got an earpiece, and they're going to leave their partner with you, and they're going to say, use caution, dangerous to law enforcement. So if they was fixing to let you go, now they're probably going to shake you down. So now you wasn't only victimized by the Leon Valley Police, in my opinion, now whoever these police are going to victimize you, because they're going to say, hey, they tried to screw with some other police over here, so now we're going to screw back with them. You see what I'm saying? It sets you up for life failure. Then if you want to go get a job, like I know a guy that was fixing to be starting a job, and so if it says he can't get a job, now he's going to have as well as psychological and physical loss, and it's deprived. And like in some countries, that's called losing face. If you have nothing in the world, nothing but your word, in some parts of the world, that's called your face. Okay, you lose face. Sometimes in the United States we say egg on your face or mud on your face, metaphorically, but in a lot of countries, especially in Asia, Thailand, in Vietnam, other places, this here is losing, so that their face not shamed. Okay? Could cause somebody to harm themselves or another because their mind ain't right after they've been done so violently wrong. And not just one of them, but they tried to intimidate the entire bunch of people. And that's like a pretextual, premeditated, unlawful arrest and deprivation of rights. That's the way I see it. If I was the investigator for the county or the state or the federal government, I would probably have about 150, 200 page report with all the names of all the officers. I would have secretaries dictate out what the chief said, go back and get all this footage, and I'd say, based on this and based on the laws and getting a lawful opinion, it is more than apparent that there are state crimes here and there are federal crimes. Some things we need to handle on a federal level, some on a state. And I'm sure then, of course, they would be criminally charged and convicted, and they would have to do their time in the state prison, and then once that was something, they go to federal prison, or they'd do federal prison and then they go do state prison. And then any pensions they had, because they were on duty and they did all this under the pretense of being under the law, then I believe they would lose their pension because it's job related. Okay, not just because it's a felony, but also job related. I believe they would lose it. Then the city has to pay out on their professional side. So say you got I don't know. Let's just make something up here. Let's say you're an officer there, and in your part of the lawsuit or their part of the lawsuit for dollars and cents comes to $400,000. Well, if they don't have it, then they sell their house, their bonds. If they don't lose their pension, then they may be able to attach some kind of attachment on that. Any bank accounts they have, any stocks and bonds they have, boats, cars, pup tents, guns, anything else they have, they can seize it and sell it to help satisfy the thing. If you don't think that's true, you go look at O.J. Simpson, okay? O.J. Simpson had to sell trophies to pay restitution. He had to do all kind of things. He had to fight tooth and toenail to make sure that they could not access his football pension. But see, he had, quote, already earned that, and he had already lawfully retired. But see, these people aren't retired, they're in active duty, and they use their position in active duty to commit the crimes, in my opinion. So I would have no trouble taking this to a state district judge or a federal judge for prosecution for criminal charges. And I wouldn't have any problem having the evidence together for the state to prosecute them and put their butts in jail. Okay, the citizens in Leon Valley, Texas deserve an honest chief of police. They deserve a good city manager. They deserve to be treated right. And they say, how did the city manager get in this? Well, the people there locally have said the city manager and him's almost like buddy-buddy on some kind of special program and cover each other's backs or butts, whatever you want to call it. That's what they said. I'm just passing along what I heard. That's hearsay. Take it however you want to. I don't know. I'm not making any special claims on here. The only claims I made are disclaimers. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical license anywhere. I'm not a bar card lawyer anywhere. I'm not a bar card judge. This is absent legal advice, absent legal intent. I've said that so many times over and over and over, you know. So I believe somewhere down the line, sooner than later, I hope, that the Department of Justice will come down here and clean house, or that the governor will eventually receive so many phone calls and so many text messages, phone calls to his own private phone. I know people that have reached out to him privately and personally about this. Now, that's all I'm going to say. So the Attorney General for Texas is aware of it. The governor and lieutenant governor is aware of it. Okay? I can't say nothing beyond that. I don't feel as though I should say anything beyond that. But I believe if you think that the chief of police and his merry motley crew violated their federal civil rights under the civil rights laws and statutes, I believe it is your duty anywhere in the United States or American territories, if you've seen it, I believe it is your duty to contact the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That's what they investigate. To tell them what you saw, to tell them the links to all the auditors' channels where they can pull it, and they can have 2 or 3 FBI agents somewhere in the United States sit down and work 6 or 8 hours a day and watching videos, have them transcribed, and then they can see what the chief says, and they go look at the law, and then they can look under federal titles and codes, and they can go down and do interviews and make a determination. So it wouldn't be hard. So the FBI, sometimes the FBI, they get a complaint on something from somebody, and so unless it's something over the top, it kind of gets the back burner. But if 10 people from different states call in about the same thing, and they get people's names and numbers that they talk to, get a case number, get a control number, whatever, something, and they got it in their phones that they called, then that's too many people from too many places calling about a rogue agency and a chief. So that puts on the heat on the federal government to go investigate. And this is spreading all over the internet like wildfire. There's some channels that are just below, they're on the internet, they're just below what would be considered mainstream media. They're just below. They may be a news channel or an entertainment channel, but they're on the cusp. They have hundreds of thousands to millions of views, and so it's getting across the whole country. And they're reputable sources, and a lot of people use them, and this is getting out. So I would say, estimated, I'm just going to estimate that across the country at least 5 million people or more have seen this tragedy that occurred at Leon Valley Police Department in Leon Valley, Texas, which is an enclave, on them, so they had to hire him back. But where there's smoke, there's fire. He apparently was not well liked, and still is not well liked. And he has delusions of grandeur. I am little Jesus. I've got a badge and a gun. I am in charge, not you. Okay? When you have to tell people that, it should just be understood. That's why they teach in the police academy visual. You just stand there and people automatically know who you are. If you have to say you're the police, then you're really the police. That's what they taught us. Then you use verbal commands, questions, answers, directives, really specific directions, okay? And thirdly, then you go to hand gestures like sit down, stand up, move back. So it's presence, verbal, hand gestures, positioning your body in the ready position if necessary, getting your hand on your weapon at that point if they appear to be going hostile, to prepare. But it's called the force escalation of force. Okay, it's like 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, 5 step. So you go through these steps, and they said everywhere, wherever you're at on that chart, you have to be able to go from 0 to 5 in a heartbeat, or from 5 to 0 in a heartbeat. So you're supposed to de-escalate it. Go down step to step to step to step. Go down. Not go up, go down. Okay? Anyway, in my opinion, based on my training experience, my conclusion is the chief wanted this to erupt like a volcano. And he basically tried to push it up and make a gigantic life-size pimple out of this and just push and push on it to make something squirt where he had something to do. and he could run around and tell his little minions, see, I'm the chief, I ain't taking that crap. We locked their ass up. I bet they don't come back here no more. We won't see them no more. We won't hear no more of them. They'll tuck their tail between their legs and they'll run away. And they'll cry, the police did me wrong. I can hear him right now in my head saying all this stuff, okay? But it's all bull crap. Bull crap. I call bull crap 100 times over. Bull crap, bull crap, bull crap. Uh, he done wrong. He know he done wrong. He violated the code of ethics for police. He has shown himself to be immoral and unethical. Well, if you're unethical, immoral, you cannot discern the laws. You cannot enforce the laws, or just like this thing, you and the people under you. He talks about being responsible. He's responsible for all his officers by law. I'm not responsible, in my opinion, on all the law I've ever seen. I'm not responsible for people putting comments on here, but he is responsible for his officers. So he let people with cell phones go in and even shake hands and the little high five with the police, and people go in with bags. So that's what you call selective enforcement. So that's not equality under the law. The police are required to treat all people equal. So if you're running this roadblock and this roadblock's deemed legal, then you got to be checking everybody that goes through there, or every 5th person or every 20th person. There has to be a pattern. It has to be the same, has to be legal. That's the last word I heard on it. Now, there could have been some more Supreme Court decisions come down since then that I'm unaware of. But the equality is under the Constitution. So you can't tell me I can't take my phone in, tell all these auditors and most of the people they can't take their in, and then somebody you know or somebody you like or somebody that's a local resident that owns a business or is friends with the chief, they don't get to come in with their phones, okay? And it did not say that the chief of police can carry a cell phone. It didn't say that the police officers can carry phones. I seen police officers carrying cell phones, and there wasn't no exemption on that court order. It didn't say unless you're the police. It didn't say that. It's just a blanket order, okay? And it says use. It didn't say possession. So they twisted the word use to go all the way over to possession. Okay, I told them, and see, and when we do the thing, I tell them my phone's off. I'm not using it, and I wanted them to know I'm not using it, so I'm not violating the law. Well, our judge said this, and this is what we're going to uphold. And like, but it's nobody else in the whole world does this, and or should know this is unlawful, and the police have a duty to make a determination if something is lawful or not. They can't just blindly follow orders, not even a judge's order. They have to make sure a warrant's valid before they serve it. They have to make sure that the judge has issued a lawful order. I have actually heard a judge in a county court tell the police to do something. And the police stopped for a second, looked at him and says, "Judge, I can't do that." He said, "I'm the judge and I'm ordering you to." He said, "I can't do it because that's unlawful." I seen this with my own 2 eyes. I was a first-hand eyewitness, and I can testify to that this judge told some police to do something. They said, "I can't. I'm the judge, I'm issuing an order, but I can't carry out that order because it's unlawful. I know that's unlawful." Okay? So they know that this judge's order is unlawful, so they're trying to enforce something. And then, which is a way far overreach and violates the rights, but even beyond that, it says the word use. Possession and usage are 2 different things. Okay? I'm possessing a truck, but unless I turn it on or drive down the road, I'm not using it. I possess it. I can be sitting in it, but I'm not using it. Okay? Having the phone, it doesn't say if you possess a phone or a camera. It says use. Use. Go look up the word in definition. Go look up possession and then look up use. Then go up there and read the signs. Okay, uh, and rules and regulations that are broad based, they're vague, they uh, cannot be enforced because people can extrapolate too many different opinions. It has to be straight, it has to be concise. The government has to have an overriding position that's so overwhelming to security. Okay? Well, people carry uh, cameras and cell phones in courthouses all over the entire United States every day of the week. They carry them to police departments. They carry them everywhere. Okay, so you know he's trying to be the one in a million judge. I strongly suspect, this is a suspicion. I strongly suspect the way that this has been set out, the chief of police doesn't want to be seen for the wrong that he's doing and doesn't want to be found out for unethical things in his officers in his department. He don't want to be challenged. I'm the king. So I believe that he somehow, some way, either got or helped orchestrate this judge's order because it suits his purpose. A judge wouldn't normally issue anything even close to that. Okay? And it says courtroom, okay? Courtroom. And then the officers told me, well, this is the courtroom area. Okay? Well, so, you know, there's too many things with a smartphone in this quote day and time that people that have disabilities have to use their phone for. Like me, I was trying to see the order. I got a problem with my eyes and I wanted to take a picture of it because they didn't have it posted nowhere and supposedly nobody could get it for me. So I want to take a picture and enlarge it so I could read it word for word. So I know exactly what it said, make sure I didn't quote violate it until a higher court told them it's bullcrap and tell the police it's bullcrap to try and enforce it. Okay? Till that happened, I was going to try and figure out what it says to obey it. But I couldn't because they took my phone with me. Nobody wanted to read it out to me out loud. So, I was to my own wits. I also have medicine I take, and I have an alarm. The alarm goes off, tells me when to take medicine. Okay, if I don't take my medicine, I could have a problem. Okay, I'm like everybody else in America, probably 80% of the people in the entire country, including police, judges, and everybody, take some sort of prescribed medicine on a daily basis. Uh, Either for a heart condition, for diabetes, high blood pressure, circulation in their body. We could just go on and on and on and on for all the things that one would have to take medicine for. It's just unlimited, you know, and you need to take it on a regiment at the same time daily. But maybe you get distracted. Well, your cell phone is your assistant. That's your electronic assistant that tells you ding, 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 and it says it's time for your afternoon medicine. Okay? So if you're distracted, then it helps you do that. And it's part of your auxiliary aid to help you to live a decent quality of life and help you from getting sick or dying. Okay? Well, they're depriving you of that device. Okay? And going in there to talk to the clerk or the chief of police or to use the bathroom poses no security threat. Okay? It already says up there no guns, and they already warned you up at the front for no guns. Okay? So we see it, we understand it, we get it. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. We get it. Okay? So that's a farce to keep people from bringing cameras in there and capturing wrongdoing. They also deprived the people of their record of events. So people that recorded anything in there that was going to be their evidence of police abuse, well, the police may just erase that. Okay? So that's tampering with their evidence. and not allowing them to download onto something else what they had on their phone in the event that it was, quote, lost, damaged, or whatever. So I can't read that stuff, but I gotta go pause for the call, so I'll I'll leave this on and y'all chat to yourself. I'll be back in a minute. Bum, 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 bum. Brother Damon, Damon Chief Jones here. Okay. I was thinking a while ago, listen to this. This is another suggestion. When you call Leon Valley Police Department to report any crimes, uh, any crimes that you suspect or believe in that may have occurred, be nice, be polite. Uh, uh, where's the money? Let me finish telling you this and I'll answer that question. Where, when you call them or any government agency, be nice, be polite, be accurate, don't lie, don't falsify anything, uh, etc. Okay? Do that which is right and just. Okay? Uh, I ain't got time for trolls. Uh, I ain't. Uh, I ain't going to stoop to the level or play games with trolls. All the honest people that gave me money, they know where it went. I know where it went. But for the record, the donations went to pay for my motel room. The donations went to pay for gas to drive 800 miles over there. It went for gas to drive back over here. It went for Uber to get over to where we was going. It went for food to eat. Uh, it's it ain't free, and that's including the $100 I threw in out of my own pocket into the pot. Okay, so it ain't just your money; it's also my money. So I got $100 in the deal. Okay, and I have to get to a computer, and I have to have some rest. I'm saying, I have to have some rest. Uh, but after I get some rest and I get to the computer, Uh, yeah, well, I don't need no Uber right now. Me and Wolfman had to get the Uber in and such, and the reason why is because he didn't want to get his car towed again. It had already been towed, and I was a big target. And somebody gave me some information that the chief of police was actually waiting to close to the end of the day if necessary, because his understanding was I was coming there. So he wanted me in this roundup because I was going to be the feather in his cap. Okay? But people, I say, God moves in mysterious ways. Okay? So I had some stomach problems. I slept a little bit later to get some rest. Then I did not eat anything. Then I had to use the bathroom, get cleaned up, and so forth and so on. And then out of nowhere, my phone starts blowing up with people calling, code red, emergency, everybody's been arrested. We need your help. So I'm like, I'm trying to call. I started calling back to find out what's going on. So I said, do I need to put anybody up in this hotel, that hotel? Do I need to try and get some more funds? Do I need to call some of my family members and borrow money? I was at the point of borrowing money to try and put some people up in a hotel and to help get bond if it come down to it, okay? I'm like everybody else. I live uh, uh, month to month, week to week, month to month, okay? So when you got a disabled son and disabled wife, and then I got my own health issues, it ain't cheap. We get by, and we don't ask people for money for us. Uh, we make it available. Okay, there's a difference in being available and asking. What's your PayPal again? Uh, PayPal me / Damon Jones with a capital D and a capital J. That's the link. If it's on my email, it's Damon4040 at yahoo.com. And if you go to my YouTube page and you scroll over to where it says about, it has my PayPal link in there and my email address. And the people that sent me emails, I've answered their emails. Uh, says careful, internet trolls are using PayPal scam. Okay. Okay. I don't I don't know. So I got to put it out there for people want to do it, because uh, these people still have to get an attorney. Okay. Some attorneys are willing to work pro bono, and most people know what that means. But just in case you don't know, that means that they're going to do it for free because they believe in you, they believe in the cause. Uh, uh, they believe in people's civil rights and alienable rights, and so they'll do it for free. It also generates good PR, good publicity. It tells other people, hey, if you're pro bono and some it's not. Uh, Depending on who you are and what's going on, and attorneys' payment plans and all this other stuff, they kick off around $5,000. And it's not that unusual to hit 10 grand. Okay, 5,000 is a starter, and some of them make you put $5,000 on retainer to kick off. And you have to show some ability, whether you sell some land, a home, bonds. You have to show something, and you have to pledge something that if the expenses go up to 10,000, that you'll pay it. Every attorney's different. So I've just seen this a lot of times in contracts, and a lot of attorneys have said this to me. So that it is what it is. But anyway, and it's not that rare. I mean, it's not commonplace, but it's not that rare for something to get up to 15 or 20,000. I had an uncle that was unlawfully charged with something, and the evidence was so crazy overwhelming that there's no way in God's green acres it could be him. But still yet, the police and the DA in Texas went forward with the case. So he had to sell his home and land to raise funds, and he retired and had health issues to raise funds to get an attorney. He was found not acquitted. The jury went back unanimously, 12 out of 12, and said he is not guilty. He filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, went to court, and he was awarded his money. Okay? He was awarded his money. So, you know what I'm saying? And so then he had to go. I'm not sure. I'm having to look around for some things. I'm not sure of that last question, but I think I got the gist of it. If you go to court and you sue, you can sue for what you're suing for. Say you're suing for $500,000, 500,000, okay? And then it's to say plus cost, plus in some states they call it a court tax, some call it a court fee. Anyway, it still means money. You got to come out Federal Reserve notes. You're going to have to pay out Federal Reserve units, whatever. You got to pay out. Well, you can put in there for your reimbursement of all cost, and you can list it like a private investigator, attorney's fees, because even though the attorney agrees to take your case on a percentage, he can also agree that if you want to put it in there for plus cost, then he can break it down. And a lot of these attorneys' costs are, when they get something big, can be $35,000 to $100,000. Okay, so the point is, they can be awarded your money plus him, plus the private investigator, plus court filing fees, depositions. Yeah, you can get every penny back you put into the thing. There's a mechanism for that. There's a process for it. Attorneys 30%. Well, that used to be the rule, or actually 30 or 33% used to be the rule. But attorneys over the last maybe 5 or 10 years, I see numerous that the least is 35, and it's not abnormal to be 40% plus cost. So say your attorney, he has to pay for these depositions, yada yada yada, and say he's got 5,000 sunk. Well, he's going to get 40% plus 5,000 reimbursement. So even if you get $100,000 off of something, say you settle for $100,000, I'm just throwing out a number out there. It could have been 600,000, it could have been $2 million, it could have been $10. But whatever you settle on, we'll just say 100,000, make it round numbers. He's going to get 40,000, and then depositions and all this other stuff. Say it winds up being 5,000, then you're going to pay him 40,000 plus 5. Okay, and if you had any doctor's treatments, like doctors had to treat you on a letter of authority or something, and the doctor's fees treating you psychologically or physically or combination, so that comes to another $5,000. Okay, so all in all, now you got $100,000, and to take care of everybody that took care of you, half your money's gone. So they get 50,000 between them, and you get 50,000. Okay. Now, the attorneys told me that if your settlement is based on a medical condition, psychological or physical condition that was brought about by the other party, and it is a medical settlement, and it's in the language, the verbiage of the contract, then there's zero taxes to pay on it. But if it's a penalty to the other side, it's considered income. That's what a tax attorney told me, that becomes income. So let's say, just say you sue for mental anguish, and you sue for physical pain and for management stuff, and you sue for $2 million and you say $1 million's for that, then you want $1 million punitive. Okay, the way the attorneys explained it to me is the $1 million you get for the medical side is non-taxable. The $1 million that the city had to pay out for punitive damage, which means punishment, we're going to punish the city and take $1 million of their money and give it to you, that's taxable. And $1 million in a lump sum, you know, you're probably going to be paying 32 to 37% of that in federal taxes. But then attorneys, they got people that can hey, I see some numbers there. Thanks. Right on. I'm fixing to go into an area that is really bad for reception, and this stuff will cut off every 30 seconds. So let me just tell you, I'm saying it again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a judge. I'm not a bar card judge or lawyer. I'm not a tax accountant. This is just chit chat, talk, conversation, enlightenment. I'm trying to do this under my ministry. I'm the pastor for the church, and I minister to people. I tell them what I know. I tell them what I believe. I tell them what I think. And I say, this is what I heard. This is what I've been told. This is factually something I know to be true because I've seen it. This is something I heard, whatever. So I try and be just as accurate as I possibly can. Now, I'm a man, and I make mistakes. And God said every man was a liar that he tell the truth. So I'm a liar, you're a liar, everybody's a liar. According to the Word of God, we're all liars. And if you get down to it, that's a no-brainer. Everybody tells a lie. Everybody's told lies, everybody's telling a lie, and everybody will tell a lie. That don't mean that you're not telling the truth 50% of the time. It doesn't mean you're telling the truth 99.9%. But at some point you are, or will lie. Okay? Even if you're lying to yourself, you're lying. Okay? So, they went into court. They said, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? And he says, no. People fell out laughing. The bailiff, he just didn't know what to take, and the judge said, what did you say? And he said, no. He said, we're trying to swear you in, and he said, right. But God said I can't swear, and he said, well, affirm or attest to tell the truth under penalty of perjury. And he said, no. He said, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He said, God said that all men are a liar, so I'm not going to be under your oath, lest you rend me, lest you say it's a lie and I got to go to jail, go to your cage, eat your junk food, drink your bad water, get sick and die in there or something. No, I will not. So they couldn't swear him in. So they couldn't take, quote, sworn testimony. So in the end, they basically had to get everybody to agree that and they said, well, so what are you saying? He said, I'm saying my yes is yes and my no is no. My words mean what I say they mean and no other assignment. So if you think you know what my words mean, you could ask me and I'll try and explain it. But I'm not positive I could explain to you my thought process. So he fixed it to where they couldn't never charge him with nothing because he would only talk, and he was supposed to be a witness. He would only talk as he wanted to talk. So the records show he lied. There wasn't nothing they could do to him. They just had to tell him, have a good day. There couldn't be no contempt of court. There couldn't be no perjury, no false statements, no nothing. And he had basically used his Fifth Amendment. And so the judge was telling him about the Fifth Amendment was if you're criminally charged. And he said, but I always believe if the police are trying to talk to me, they're trying to criminally charge me for something. And I have no duty to talk to any public servant. I have no duty to assist the police. It's not my job to do their job. They're paid taxpayer dollars to do their job. So I'm not talking to the police. So I'm taking the fifth in an abundance of caution. That's my right. It's my right as a state citizen. So they basically just asked him questions on the stand, and they said it's understood. And the judge says I'm taking judicial notice. Judicial notice. Uh, uh, that this man, I believe to be on the other 8, are going to get T-shirts. I got to get with Faceless Dave to make that happen. So I'd say sometime this week it'll happen. Thank you. God bless you, and have a great day. Don't do nothing illegal.